Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Thriller Thursday. I hope everyone had an amazing Christmas or holiday, whichever one you decide to celebrate, and a Happy New Year. Yay, it's 2021. Who's excited? I know I am. So what are you guys' New Year's resolutions, if you have any? I tend to always break my New Year's resolutions, but this year I am getting married and I'm going to try to lose some weight for my wedding, and I've actually been doing really good and working out every single day. So I'm pretty excited about that. Let me know what your guys' resolutions is down below. Also, did anyone get it right? Today we're going to be talking about Tim MacLean and Vince Lee. A lot of you guys probably know this case because it was pretty recent. It was 2008, 2009 when this case really blew up. So let me know if you guys got it right down below. So without further ado, let's get into it. July 30th, 2008, bus 170, the Night of Terror began. So Tim MacLean was born October 3rd, 1985 in Victoria, BC. He grew up both in Winnipeg and Ely, Manitoba. So Ely, Manitoba is a very small town. If you're from where I'm from, you kind of have to make your own type of adventures and fun because there's not too much going on in the town. It's a very small town where you like to go outside, do all that fun stuff like that. So family and friends described Tim as active, outgoing, spontaneous. He loved sports, he loved adventure. He was all around just a great guy to be with. Friends said that he could go to a party, not know anyone, and come out with best friends and just become best friends with everyone. That's the type of person I aspire to be because I'm pretty shy when I go out to parties and I don't know new people. And I just wish I was that type of person who could just go to parties and just, lighten it up, be the life of the party, and everyone enjoys it. But I'm kind of the opposite. In the summer of 2007, Tim's friend Tiffany called him and asked, "Hey, what are you doing this summer? Do you got a job? Do you have any plans? What are you doing?" And Tim said he wasn't doing anything that summer. He had no job, he had no plans, he didn't quite know what he was going to do. So Tiffany asked him, "Pack a bag. We're just gonna go for the summer, find something to do, and that's it." So Tim packed his bag and him and Tiffany decided that they were gonna take off. So once they took off, they found this traveling carnival, which they both thought, hey, let's get jobs here. We can work all summer and we can meet people our own age and have a pretty cool job. So they set off and they both got jobs at this carnival. Tim had a real act for this job. Like I said earlier, Tim had a very outgoing personality, and being with the public all day really put him in his element. He really loved it, and everyone who went to his rides or the games he was working really loved interacting with him, and they thought he was just super well suited for the job, right? So in the evenings, the Connies always threw mad parties. They always would go get drunk. They would just have crazy parties. It kind of seemed like a pretty good gig over the summer, right? So Tim and Tiffany loved the job so much that they decided that they were going to stay longer than the summer, and they actually decided to stay for a whole year. So in the summer of 2008, Tim turned 28, and he kind of was feeling like this isn't for him anymore. He's kind of done with the traveling. He's ready to settle down, move back to BC. He wants to get a permanent job, permanent housing. He wants to just settle down and start a life again, right? So Tim decided that the traveling carnival wasn't for him anymore. So the traveling carnival in the middle of the summer of July 2008 was getting ready to move again, and they were moving from Edmonton to Regina, and Tim thought this was a perfect time to leave the carnival. He would move from, instead of going with the carnival from Edmonton to Regina, he would go from Edmonton to Winnipeg and take a bus. So Tim was ready to go back home. So to go from Edmonton to Winnipeg is a pretty long distance. It's either a 24-hour bus ride on the GreyHound or a 2-hour plane ride. So Tim's friends told him that they will pay for a plane ticket so he doesn't have to take the bus. And Tim refused because Tim's just, a nice guy. He doesn't want people to spend money on him, and was like, no, I'll just take the bus and I will see you guys in 24 hours. So Tim gets ready in Edmonton. He gets on the bus and he's ready to go. And on midnight, July 30th, the bus 1170 began its journey, its 24-hour journey back home to Winnipeg. So there is another person in this story, and his name is Vincent Lee. So Vince was born in China in Dandong in 1986. When I say 86, I mean 68, because I am dyslexic apparently and can't get that right. Vince immigrated to Canada from China in 2001 and became a Canadian citizen in 2006. Lee graduated from Wuhan Institution of Technology with a degree in computers. But once he came to Canada, he never really was allowed to use that degree, and I think that really frustrated Lee. He just worked regular jobs. He wasn't able to really use his degree that he's worked so hard for, and I believe that really frustrated him. He worked in Winnipeg at the Memorial Church for 6 months and to support his wife Anna. Pastor Tom, who employed him, said that he seemed very happy to have a job and he was a very hard worker. The only thing that really frustrated Lee at the time was that he didn't speak that much English, and he thought that the language barrier between him and the other members of the church really frustrated him. So Lee first moved to Edmonton in 2006 and abruptly left his wife. She followed him shortly after when she was still in Winnipeg. In Edmonton, Lee worked at Walmart, fast food restaurants. He was a newspaper delivery. And I guess 4 weeks before the killing, Lee was fired from Walmart because of an altercation he had with another employee. So Lee decided that he was going to go back to Winnipeg. So I guess he had an interview and he asked his boss if he could have it off. The boss said no. And I guess that's what kind of started the altercation. So then he just got fired. So then that solves that whole problem, right? Looks like I'm going to Winnipeg for that interview. So at 12:05 on July 28th in Edmonton, Lee boarded the GreyHound bus for Winnipeg. On July 29th around 6 p.m., Lee got off the bus in Erickson, Manitoba with at least 3 pieces of luggage and stayed the night on the bench next to a grocery store. So he just slept on the bench the whole entire time. According to one witness that seen him at 3 a.m., that he was just sitting upright with his eyes huge and just staring there at 3 a.m. I don't know about you, but if I'm walking around at 3 a.m. and I see some dude doing that, I'm not walking near him. So yeah, I would not go near that guy. He's sitting abruptly, his eyes are wide open. I think he's on drugs. I'm not going near him. So I guess on the morning of July 30th, still at the bench, Lee sold his brand new laptop. So he had a completely brand new laptop, sold it to a 15-year-old kid for $60. That is a steal. I would have bought it too. But the RCMP did have to seize that laptop from the child, and the kid was very cooperative, was like, yeah, you can take it when everything went down. But still, that was a good deal. If I was a kid, if I was 15, I would definitely buy a brand new laptop from a guy for $60. That's pretty good. I don't know what 15-year-old has $60. I know I didn't when I was 15, but I guess that's just me, right? Witnesses say Lee seemed oblivious to his surroundings and had a very calm demeanor. So they didn't expect what was going to happen. So Lee got on the bus of 1170, and this is the exact same bus that Tim was on. And Lee sits at the front of the bus. So Tim is at the back of the bus. So Tim, if you've ever been on a GreyHound, you kind of understand the layout of the bus. The bus is, so he's at the back. So there's Tim, there's the wall, and then there's people in front of him, and there's also the bathroom that's beside Tim. So he's kind of cornered in. So there's not really too many places to go. So that's where Tim is, and Lee's sitting at the front of the bus. So I guess there is a scheduled rest stop. Tim gets off the bus so he could have a cigarette, and they don't say much about Lee here, but Tim gets off for a cigarette to stretch his legs. A lot of the other people get off so that they can stretch the legs, do all that. And so Tim gets back on the bus and he goes and sits back in his seat. And this is when I guess Lee gets up from his seat and goes and sits right beside Tim. So Tim's just being Tim. He's a nice guy. When Lee comes and sits beside him, he asks, how are you doing? Why are you on the bus? Where are you going? and stuff like that, and kind of converses with Lee. And people said that it didn't seem like Lee knew Tim. It didn't seem like they had any type of connection whatsoever, but Tim was just being nice and just decided to talk to him. So then Tim and Lee don't really talk anymore, so Tim puts his headphones on, starts listening to music maybe, and puts his head up against the window. So Tim is laying up against the window at this time and just listening to music, doing his thing. I have no clue what I'm doing with my eyes. I'm just sitting here staring at my palettes. Like, it sucks because I've been like doing some actually like bomb looks, and now that I'm filming, I'm like, what am I gonna do? So Tim's laying up against the window and he's just listening to music. So if you've been on a GreyHound bus or have traveled with like hockey, any type of sports team, and took a bus, you know that there's little TVs there, right? So I guess the TVs were going and they were playing The Return of Zorro, I think is the movie that was playing at that time. And then out of nowhere, passengers say they hear this blood-curdling scream, and it's coming from the back of the bus. So when the bus passengers turn and look, Lee, the guy who's sitting beside Tim, pulls out a knife and starts stabbing Tim in the neck and in the chest repeatedly. So people are panicking at this time, as you can imagine. Tim's getting stabbed. He doesn't know what to do. I guess passengers did say that Tim was trying to fight back, obviously. I think anyone would try to fight back if that was the case. And Lee just kept like stabbing him and stabbing him. The bus driver at the time did try to say stop, like stop what you're doing. But it's kind of hard when like, so you're the bus driver, you're driving, hey, stop that, looking in your rearview mirror. It's not like a child in a car where you can be like, hey, stop, and like give him a little, That guy's way back there. You're not gonna be able to help him. So he's saying stop, and he just continues to stab him and stab him. So then it's not really clear if Tim was thrown onto the floor or if he fell to the floor because he was being stabbed. But so he was on the floor and he was trying to fight back. So the bus driver pulls over, his name is Bruce, just so everyone knows, and gets the passengers off the bus. So Bruce pulls over and he starts letting all the passengers off the bus, making sure everyone's okay, but Bruce stays on the bus to see if he can de-escalate the situation with Vince and Tim. So while he's on the bus, he's screaming at Lee and is like, stop, stop, stop. What are you doing? Why are you doing this? And he just says, Lee's just continually stabbing him. And then at one point, Bruce says, Lee gets up with the knife and starts walking towards him. And Bruce is like, today's not the day for me to die. So he gets off the bus and starts barricading it and shutting it and trying to keep Vince on the bus. Unfortunately, he keeps Tim on the bus without the knowledge of knowing if Tim's still alive, if Tim needs help. He kind of barricades them both on the bus, which is really sad at that point. So a truck driver is driving past at that time and he sees that this bus is pulled over, and he also sees the panic in the passenger's face. So he pulls over and he's like, hey, what's going on? His name is Chris, just so everyone knows. So Chris pulls over and he's like, hey, what's going on? And I guess bus driver Bruce was like, hey, this guy's stabbing someone. He's also trying to get out. Can you help me barricade the door? So Chris stops and he tries to help Bruce barricade the door. Vince is still inside in the bus and with Tim's body. And I guess since he kind of realized he couldn't get out of the bus, he turns and decides to go back to Tim. And that's when he continues to stab Tim. Like continuously stabbing Tim. And so if you guys have ever been on a GreyHound or have seen a GreyHound, you know when the lights are on inside the GreyHound, it's pretty easy to see inside. So all the passengers, right, are down looking directly in. They can see everything Vince is doing to Tim. It's disgusting. Like they said, passengers were puking, passengers were shaking. It was just a horrendous scene, which like I get. I don't know how I would react to that situation, but I would be absolutely disgusted. Watching somebody getting stabbed, not being able to do anything is probably the worst feeling, I would say, because you're just sitting there and that person, not knowing if Tim's still alive, you're just like, you're helpless at that point. Like, Tim's helpless, everyone's helpless, no one knows really what to do. At this time, another GreyHound who is also doing the same route as 1170 pulls over because they see that the bus that they were supposed to be kind of following is also pulled over, and they can kind of tell that there's some sort of a panic going on. So the bus driver pulls over, and his name is Bruce, just so everyone knows, and he decides that he's going to get on the bus and see if he could maybe talk to Tim. See if maybe not Tim, because Tim's getting stabbed, talk to Lee. So he decides that he's gonna go on and try to talk to Lee. So his name is Bonnie, just so everyone knows, the bus driver's name is Bonnie. So he gets on the bus and he's gonna go see if he can say like to Lee, hey, stop, why are you doing this? No. So I guess he goes on the bus and he asks, hey, why are you doing this, Lee? And Lee, the only thing he says is get emergency. That's it. So the only thing that Vince says is go get emergency. So Bonnie says that Lee is just stabbing Tim and just staring at him with the craziest eyes, like, and just stabbing him and just staring at him. And then finally Bonnie says that he decides to look down and see what Tim looked like, and he said that that's when he realized that Lee was stabbing so deep into Tim, and then he realized that he was stabbing super deep into Tim's neck, trying to decapitate him. And that's when he decides that he's getting off the bus, because there's kind of nothing you can do at that point, right? Like, unfortunately, I would say Tim's kind of dead. That's just me. Barney kind of decides, hey, there's nothing else really I can do, so I'm getting off the bus. And just a side note, that the first time the bus 1170 pulled over, that's when they called the RCMP. So the RCMP are still not there, just because they're on the highway, they're in the middle of nowhere, and it just is going to take them a while to get there. I'm dipping into purple. I guess I'm just going for something here. Let's see how it turns out. So then when Barney gets off the bus, he tells Bruce that, hey, we should probably try to cut the power to the bus so that Vince can't turn the bus on and take off. And so they do that. And then at that time, Vince decides that he tries to go to the front of the bus and he tries to turn the bus on. So Vince realizes he can't turn the bus on and gets very agitated at this time and goes back to the front of the bus and starts slamming the front and trying to get out, while Chris and the bus drivers are trying to keep him in. They don't want him out. So the bus drivers and Chris are trying to keep him in, and then at that time the RCMP finally showed up. So Vince was pacing up and down. The RCMP are finally here. The first one on the scene was Corporal Harder, and he tried to talk Vince down. He tried to ask him, hey, like, why don't you just come out? Like, it'd be better for you if you just come out. Let's make this a lot easier than it has to be. And Vince wasn't responding or anything. They saying that he was very radical. So then a special negotiator came out, and also a tactical SWAT team. So they're all there. They're all trying to get Vince out. They're trying to tell him, hey, just throw the knife out the bus. Let's just make this a lot easier. And Vince is not wanting any of it. So then they are trying to get him off. He's not having it. He doesn't want to come off. He's done talking. The only thing that they could really make out of Vince was him saying, hey, I'm going to stay on this bus forever. The rest of it, they could not really understand what he was saying. So then they said he was pacing up and down the bus, just continually pacing up and down. And then he would go back to Tim's body, defile the body, and then they even said that they seen him eating parts of the body. He would cut it up and he would eat parts of the body. So at this point, Vince goes back to the body and he decides that he's going to continue to cut it up. The passengers on the side of the road can see all this happening, right? So they said that they could see Vince cutting the bodies, ripping out organs, ripping off multiple body parts of Tim. They said that they saw him lick the blood off his hands and arms. Tim would walk up and down. Oh my God, Vince would walk up and down the bus and holding a variety of organs from Tim and body parts and then stuffing them in bags. Vince was walking up and down the aisles. He was carrying body parts, stuffing them into bags. And then I guess at one point, passengers said that he grabbed Tim's head, decapitated him, and started walking up and down the aisle with his decapitated head. And that's when the RCMP decided that they are going to take the passengers out of there and they are going to bring them to the Brandon RCMP detachment for questioning, because they probably shouldn't be there. So I know right now you guys are thinking, what is Jordan doing with her makeup? I'm gonna clean it up. I swear I'm gonna clean it up. It's gonna look maybe okay, probably not, but we will see. So around 1:30 a.m., Lee attempted to escape by breaking one of the windows and attempting to jump out. The RCMP tased him twice, handcuffed him, and put him in the back of a cop car. So then after that, when he was arrested, they went onto the bus. They found multiple parts of Tim. They took the parts that they found on Tim, of Tim on the bus, put them in plastic bags. And then they found Tim's tongue, eyes, and parts of his ear in Lee's pocket. They were unable to find any part of his heart, and they just kind of assumed that that's because Vince ate it. I look so crazy. That's okay. So Vince's trial commenced on March 3rd, 2009, and he pled not criminally responsible due to a mental disorder. So what that means is that Vince did admit to the killing that had happened, but he said that he didn't do it because he didn't have the mental elements necessary for the killing. So one of the doctors on the trial said that he did it because he heard God saying that Tim was a force of evil, and that he was there to execute Lee. The judge who was sitting at the time accepted the diagnosis and said Vince was not criminally responsible for the killing, and Vince was remanded to a mental hospital. So on June 3rd, 2010, Vince was granted supervision walks on the premises of the mental hospital. So he was allowed to go out, but he was only allowed to walk around. So then on May 2011, Vince was responding very well to his treatments that he was getting at the mental hospital, and they said that he needs some more freedom. He should be allowed more freedom. So he was granted more freedom. And then on the next couple months, he was allowed to leave, go out for supervision walks with supervisors at the time, so either a peace officer or a nurse. And then in 2014, he was allowed to go by himself if he wanted to. That put a lot of controversy out there just because, he killed someone, and he was allowed to now pretty much walk free. On July 17th, 2014, the first officer on the scene, who was Constable Harder, committed suicide. The family said he was battling with PTSD. And then on February 2016, Vince legally changed his name to Will Baker, and he is now free. He left the group home. He's out getting a job. people who see him or surround themselves with him say he's a great guy, that he is doing well. So this put a lot of controversy out there because not everyone, Tim wasn't the only victim. There was Constable Harder who killed himself. There was everyone that was on the bus. I guess the truck driver Chris said that he became an alcoholic due to him not being able to sleep at night because of the visions. There's tons of things. So I'm gonna go put on my lashes now. As you know, I can't do it on camera because it takes about a half an hour. And then I will be back to give you my final thoughts. All right, I'm back. So like I was saying, that as Tim was the main victim, he was obviously beheaded, half of him was eaten, stuff like that. He was the main victim of this whole case. But yet again, there was individuals who have suffered too, right? So if you think about it, like I was saying, Chris became an alcoholic, the RCMP officer killed himself, and there's been tons of backlash for this. So I know Canada is mainly known to kind of be like a rehabilitating justice system, but I don't know if this one was fully, if Vince should be out. Like, I totally understand that, yeah, he was obviously sick when this happened and he needed help, but all the other individuals, like there's Chris never got help. People have done lawsuits on the GreyHound bus and they haven't given any help. All the lawsuits have been drawn. No one's giving the people who need it, who are the victims who are surviving from it, any help, right? So it's nice that Vince got the help he needed, but there's tons of other people who needed help too. So let me know what you guys think down below. Let me know if you think that Vince should be allowed to be walking around and it's totally okay, because throughout all my research, they never said once that he really had an outburst or an attack or anything due to his schizophrenia, and then all of a sudden he just kills someone. And not even just like, oh, I stabbed them. He ate them, beheaded them, cut them into pieces, like all kinds of stuff. Like that was a severe thing that he did. Like that wasn't a little, oh, I just stabbed a person, even though that's horrible too. Just stabbing someone's horrible too. But yeah, let me know what you guys' thoughts are on this case. If Vince should be walking around, did Tim MacLean get justice for what happened to him? Are the people who are on the bus, did they get justice to what happened to them? Let me know down below and let me know what you guys think. I just want to thank each and every one of you guys who have been tuning in, who have been showing me support, who've been sending me messages, letting me know who I should do next. I got over 200 views on my first video. I never thought I would have got that. I really want to thank each and every one of you guys for the love and support that each one of you guys have shown me over the last couple weeks. It blows my mind. I really thank you guys so much. It means the world to me, all right? So hopefully I see you guys next week. So I have 2 on my mind that I am planning on doing. One is in Ontario, the other one is in BC. One is a missing person, and the other one is somebody who murdered someone. I feel like I've been doing a lot of murders, and I wouldn't mind doing a mystery where somebody just vanished, but I'm the type of person who needs closure. So I don't like doing a disappearance because I'm like, who did it? I want to know who did it, but I guess we'll have to see. All right, that is all for Thriller Thursday today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed the look. I know it was a little scary at the beginning, a little messy. I didn't know what I was going to do either. But thank you guys so much for tuning in, and hopefully I see you guys next week. Bye.